5 men on trial for allegedly killing Senzo Meyiwa are back in the Pretoria High Court this morning. Bank statements of the accused are expected to once again be the focus of these proceedings. Last week, the bank records for accused number one, this is Muzi Sibiya, revealed that he was in Gauteng when the soccer star was murdered in October of 2014. So it contradicts his version that he was actually in KwaZulu-Natal. His lawyer, advocate Thulani Mngomezulu, indicated that he would challenge these bank statements. And so that's why we're back in court today, all 5 suspects pleading not guilty to the charges. Linda Mnisi, our reporter, has been covering this story and has been covering the ins and outs of this trial and joins us now. Linda, good morning. Before we get to the banking statements and how advocate Mngomezulu is going to play this ostensibly, he wasn't there on Friday, and it again set us up for this not altercation, but this displeasure from the judge in the matter, Judge Rata Mokhwatleng, about not being communicated directly for the fact that advocate Mngomezulu was not going to be able to attend court due to illness. Will he be there? Is he going to be there today for sure?
Well, we heard on Friday that he was not going to be there. We're going to hear today whether or not he's recovered, because the reasons that were given was that he was unwell. Advocate Mshololo saying that she received a call from him and that she would be standing in for him. You'll remember previously, the judge complained about not being informed personally about an advocate or a lawyer not being in court, because obviously this does affect the proceedings and whether or not we're going to continue, especially in a case like this that has taken years to get to this point. So it's quite important, the judge emphasized the last time, that lawyers inform him through his registrar that they won't be present, actually making reference to the fact that people are able to call each other, but they are not able to WhatsApp the judge or WhatsApp the registrar to say, well, I won't be available in court on this particular day, so that the state may see how it also structures its witnesses for the case to continue.
Yeah, he took it quite personally on Friday. But there's another issue. Advocate Zandile Mshololo, tried to stand in his stead, but there are some material issues that she would not be able to respond to, and this can have an impact as well on the flow of the court and the flow of these proceedings, which already have been hamstrung by a number of different sort of roadblocks. So just share with us again, what that was about that led to the court's adjournment.
Yeah, so essentially you remember that lawyers act as per instructions of the accused persons, and already they've put a version on the table. They've put a version: we were not in Gauteng when Senzo Meyiwa was killed. So everything needs to flow from that particular version, and especially when we're looking at things like the bank statement, they've already said that they would challenge them after having compared bank statements from 2 separate banks. So they're still waiting on documents for another bank to confirm, and one would have thought, like the judge said, these are bank statements, can't you just admit what is contained in the bank statements? And they're saying, well, the allegations that the state made that we want to rebut through these bank statements. So it's not quite easy to say admit, because admitting these would be as good as saying this evidence is going unchallenged. So it's important that we have a look at all the statements and make comparison in order for us to be able to put a strong case against the state.
I mean, it's hard to predict, as we've seen with these matters, whether it'll be a full day in court, whether we'll be able to hear all the evidence and the cross-examination as sort of one seamless whole, given some of the hiccups that we have seen in court. So it is against that backdrop, Linda, I'm going to ask you, what are we likely to expect today? There is going to be that cross-examination of the bank statements to try and, again, bring into evidence whether they corroborate the state's version. Most likely they are put there to not corroborate the state's version, but in fact to challenge it.
Yeah. So essentially, once they're done, obviously, and after receiving all the material that they say they need to receive, they'll then make a decision on whether or not they want to, challenge these bank statements, because, of course, like they indicated, they still have to assess them and look at, the different bank statements in order, of course, to challenge that. But essentially, at the heart of why the state even brought these bank statements is to further prove their version that the accused were in Johannesburg, they are the ones that participated in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Like I said, in the case of accused number 1, he said he left Johannesburg in 2013 after losing his job and only returned in 2015. So his alibi was that he was in KwaZulu-Natal when this murder happened. But the state previously brought the e-Natus system, the e-Natus expert, who said, well, in 2014, accused number 1 sat for his learner's license twice in Johannesburg because he would need to he would need to come in person. And they said, well, he would come in and go out. And then the state now brings bank records which show that in the month of October, there were transactions that were being performed in Vosloorus. This is around the time that he's supposed to be in KwaZulu-Natal, but here are transactions that are being performed in KwaZulu-Natal, and this is the bank statement.
In Vosloorus,
in Vosloorus, and this is the bank statement that reflects that, the bank statement that bears the details that he has, the address that we say he lived in at the time when Senzo Meyiwa was killed, not the KwaZulu-Natal address. In the e-Natus expert also saying, well, the address that he put there is the address from the Vosloorus hostel, and you'll remember the issue around the Vosloorus hostel. This is where they allegedly met before going to execute that murder. So obviously the state also going as far as accused number 5 as well. His details, cell phone numbers, like they said earlier, he had used a cell phone number to open an account. So that's the line that they're pursuing with these bank statements.
All right, it's going to be another interesting day to watch. Linda, Mnisi, thank you very much for just the summary of what's transpired over the last time we were in court and what's expected today.